What's going on, YouTube? My name is Dawson. I am an automotive lifestyle portrait jack of all trades photographer, and I've recorded this like 15 times now. This is my first YouTube video. I expected it to be just miserable standing in front of a camera, and I've definitely gotten more used to it as the more takes go on. Um, but it's just like one of those things. It's awkward. It's awkward to talk to a camera. It's kind of awkward to just like stand out here in the middle of like nothing and just like talk to my phone and myself and the camera. Like I said, I don't know why I'm repeating that. But yeah, I just kind of want to leave in like the awkwardness. Like it's one of those things where it feels like it should be easy on paper, like stand here, talk to camera, explain these things, but then you do it and you slip up, you cough, you sneeze, you walk out of the frame, you do all these things, and it's just like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Um, like, why am I standing here? I guess I'll go with why I'm standing here. I've shot a lot of my favorite things here, so I thought it'd be kind of cool to just like shoot a video in a location that I really like. I have this one set of photos here that's like kind of me blending my like car and model love, and there's some of my favorite photos. And so I was just like, yeah, like we're gonna do it here. It's kind of peaceful, it's kind of quiet, and it's pretty. So I was like, I'm gonna shoot this video here, and I think I'm kind of coming to terms with leaving the little bit of awkwardness in this. Originally, I thought I was gonna like cut around and try to one take this and just whatever. But I kind of like the idea of just like pacing and talking and letting it come off more as a conversation than like, what's going on, guys? Da da da, like and subscribe, like. And so I wanted it to feel a little more personal. I wanted to feel like I'm having a conversation or I'm explaining something. Uh, yeah. So when it comes to cars, I primarily like to shoot like one of two things with them. I like to put cars in places where they belong or places that you'd think you'd see them. You might see a nice car like on the top of a mountain or, parked up by a lake or just something normal, something, cool looking, but something where you're like, oh, that makes sense for cars. And then I like also doing things where I park cars in flower fields or on grass or just kind of wherever I can put them that doesn't really make sense. And it's kind of this back and forth of what mood I'm in. And a lot of it just like stems from like the movies I watch, the video games I play, just like talking to friends, like different things inspire me at like different times, or maybe even something inspires me, but I don't really have an idea for it until a couple years later. And so, yeah, you just kind of like roll with the punches. And then on the other side, I like to do a lot of model work. Um, I find like portraits can be really, really fun. It's kind of what I started with. I feel like a lot of people start with portraits. They ask their friend to stand in front of a camera or whatever. Uh, but it's one of those things where it has like a high skill ceiling. I think that's what I'm looking for, is that you can take a location like this and you can just say, oh, stand here, pretty place, leaves falling, blue skies, and it'll look pretty and it'll look nice. Or you can add in like other elements to it. You can park a car here and get a model here and have her styled to match. And, you just, whatever you want to do, you make it your own. And I find that super interesting. You can do it with cars too. I just feel like with another person to bounce off of or a couple people, depending on how many models and stuff, it makes sense. I wonder if you can hear, I don't know if it's a boat or a plane. Probably a boat. I'm by the lake. It's definitely a boat. um, but yeah, those are the kind of like things I like to shoot. I also like to mess around with like landscapes when I'm in pretty places or like architecture and like street shooting. I find those really fun, but I think you just have to have an interesting location to do those in or like an interesting event to do those at. Um, so it's not as like readily available. Yeah, I think that's just kind of a brief like synopsis on like what I shoot, what I do. I'll kind of throw in like some photos so that you can like see my work as I'm talking. So it's not me just awkwardly pacing around in a circle trying to talk to a camera for the 100th time. uh but yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about, creativity and inspiration, and then do like an editing challenge with this. When I started out, I saw a lot of really, really talented photographers, especially car photographers, who would pull off these insane shoots. You'd have a McLaren driving underneath a helicopter with a model hanging from the helicopter, or you'd have, a Bugatti at an active volcano, or just, you're something insane, something you look at it and you're just like, how does that happen? And I think as I've gone like further in my career and met people and explored things and talked to companies and clients, I think a lot of those happen just by chance. You can set those up for sure. You can have a friend who owns a nice Porsche and say, "Hey, I want to go in the mountains and I want to shoot in the snow." But then what happens when you get there and there's no snow? And you know, you can plan for everything, but when you're shooting outside, everything can go wrong or everything can go right, and you hope everything goes right. But a lot of times, at least in my experience, it doesn't. And you kind of just wing it and hope for the best. And I think with that, again, like you see someone like Aaron Brimhall, who just, his feed is a constant, just like inspiration dump. Like everything I see from that man is both, how did you shoot this? And how do I shoot this? And I think both of those things are cool. And I I look at that and I want to kind of break down my thoughts on that. And I don't think it comes from like a jealous standpoint. I think it just comes from, opportunities come when you least expect it, and opportunities come out of anywhere. You never know who might be able to help you in what situation, and you got to ask, or you got to pitch ideas, you got to do all these things to make that one shoot happen or that one photo happen. And I think any creative person, whether you paint or make music or take photos, whatever it is, they all have that like one bucket list thing. They say, "Oh, if I could work with this person, or if I could, have this as my model, or if I could go to this location." That's like the top for them. It's why it's a bucket list shot or a dream shoot or whatever it might be. And I think when I started, I had this notion of, I'm never going to get to that point. And then I got to that point. I got to where I had access to all these cool, interesting cars and some very talented models and just friends who were down to help me either come as assistants or have like ideas or just anything and everything. And it got me thinking with that, is I dreamt about these moments of when I wanted to shoot crazy things. What would it be like? And then it kind of just got there. I kind of just got to that point where it happened, and I didn't really reflect on that. So that's kind of what this video is like a reflection of that feeling that I made it point, or that, oh, I'm good at this, or I'm good enough that somebody is down to shoot with me. Like for instance, Calvin's Liberty Walk 720S. I think with that shoot, it kind of checked a lot of the boxes of the things I had been chasing. It's a heavily modified, very expensive car, but it was also in a cool place with cool people, and the elements that were going on, all of it just kind of came to and made this incredible shoot that I'll probably think about like forever. And so I wanted to like share those raws, and I wanted to see what other people could do, because I remember being a beginner and I remember thinking, you know, uh, I could do this too. I just need like that opportunity, or I could do this too, but I just want to, I need to see their settings, or there's things I didn't know or understand, or I didn't have anybody to like ask questions to, or even just like a community to like be like, hey, this is good, this is bad. I was just kind of like winging it. Uh, Started taking photos on my iPhone, and it was just like not good photos. I don't think I took a single photo back then that I would look at now and be like, this is a good photo. But I think you learn from that. I had this photographer, film photographer, you know, like 60 years in the game kind of photographer, who told me, like your first like 10,000 photos that you take are going to be awful. And I think a lot of people get that advice. But I think with that, I had like an ego where I was like, nah, I'm better. I'm going to be the one who is better than that. And then you realize you're not. I feel like just in the past couple of years, I've hit my stride with like the way I like shooting things, the way I like finding my locations and my editing and my like camera body and lens setup and just all those things. And I think having a guidance or a community to learn from and expand from and tell you when things are good, tell you when things are bad, or just inspire you is super helpful. And not a lot of people have that. I started shooting cars and I didn't know a single other car photographer. I didn't know that I could just like pull up to car shows and take photos. I didn't know any of it. And there wasn't really anyone making car photo videos or like anything at the time when I was learning. So it was just like hard. And it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of experimentation and just a lot of like, this is probably not going to be good, but you can't get the good until you go through all the bad. And so this is kind of my, like, I'm not going to call it like a give back, but this is kind of my thing where I'm saying like, hey, I'm putting out some raws and I want to see you guys do something cool with it. Whether you're just beginning or you've got 10 years in the game and you're the best photographer I've ever seen. I want to see just like some crazy creative stuff. And, I don't need insane edits. I don't need, over the top effects. I don't need anything other than like what you like doing and how you want to make it yours. So I've put like 8 or 9, I don't remember how many at this point. I've filmed this so many times, but I'm just going to leave this like raw and uncut because I feel that feels more personal. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Yeah, like 8 or 9 raws in this folder, and I want you guys to make like a set of 3, and it can be whatever, it can be this photo first, that photo last, or it can be only details or only whatever it is you want to do that. Have fun with it, enjoy it. It's a crazy cool car. It's a really cool location for the car. Yeah, just have fun. I want to look at these and be like, damn, like I should have done that, or whoa, these are so cool, or just have those moments. But I think with that too, the other thing is I want to kind of break these down and not necessarily critique them, but look at them and be like, oh, you did this, that's interesting, or oh, I don't personally do this. Just, to again kind of give that feedback, give that sense of community or that sense of having somebody to ask questions to if you need it. I've been around in this long enough that I feel like I know a majority of things. Don't know everything. Don't think I ever will. But I know enough where I feel confident in trying to like help people out. So yeah, I think with that, only a couple rules for this. So I'm going to have it in Google Drive. That's where the raws will be. There will also be a folder that has like edits. It'll be named like edits. Open that folder, make a new folder, throw your 3 photos in there, label your photo, your Instagram @ or whatever it is you want me to tie it back to you. And at that point, I'll take them all, I'll throw them up on my story, and I'll be like, which do you like more? Which do you like less? Essentially just like vote up, vote down, that kind of thing. Make it super simple. At that point, we'll take like the top 5 and I'll go through and I'll kind of like look over them, review them and see, just what you guys were cooking with. I think it'll be fun to see. I think it'll be interesting. I'm gonna allow like Photoshop and AI stuff. Go crazy, have fun, use other assets, but don't remove the location. If this is the location, I want to still see that location. But if you want to pull out every single tree in the background and just have this flat surface, do it. Go crazy, have fun. If you want to throw in crazy graphics and whatever, do it. Enjoy it. Have fun with these photos. I had fun shooting them. I hope you have fun editing them. Um, yeah, that's kind of it. Besides that, my DMs are always open if you have questions or whatever. Uh, yeah, I don't really know how to end these, so I'm just gonna